Questions for Coach Moren?
Coach, since finding out that you guys made the tournament on Monday, what's been your week since then?
Well, it's been a week of preparation. It's an incredible challenge to prepare for Georgia, and so we've just focused on trying to help prepare our kids for that challenge. We've had some pretty energetic practices throughout the week. It was kind of nice to have just kind of get back into a routine in between the Big Ten and waiting those 10 days. We were basically going 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. So it was nice to be able to just get back to our regular routine of prepping for a team. And so I've had a great week. I know the kids are excited, feel like this is a tremendous opportunity for us, and we're just really grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Having had a chance to look more at the Bulldogs now, what can you say about their team?
Well, I think B hit it on the head. They're great in transition. It's an athletic conference. They have a tremendous point guard in Butler. This is a veteran basketball team. They have a fantastic high-low game. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on us defensively. We got to make sure that we have active hands, a lot of activity with our hands on the outside in hopes of deterring some of those easy passes on the inside. Of course, they got a great shooter in Griffin, and then they have tremendous post players. Although they don't have the depth they would probably have liked coming into the tournament, they still have some really unique pieces. And so it's going to be, like I said, an incredible challenge for us. But, I think as Tyra mentioned, we've had a lot of challenges this year, especially in the Big Ten. I know that our group really feels prepared for the moment.
Obviously, you guys are new to this, haven't been here since 2002. Georgia, like I said,
32 years.
32 years. So how do you overcome that deficit? Mentally.
Well, it's again, that's special for them, and it's special for us. But this is what we want to do year in and year out, and it has to start. Although this isn't the first time Indiana's ever been in the NCAA tournament, but we certainly this is something that we want to have happen at the end of every Big Ten season, where we're waiting on a Monday night for the selection show, and we're waiting to see our seed, where we're going to be sent and who we're going to play. So you got to get a taste of it first before you know what it's all about. And there was a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, relief Monday night. Probably more enthusiasm than there was relief, because we all felt pretty confident that we were going to be in this tournament. But I think once the kids, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and they're going to have a tremendous experience, and this is something that, again, they're going to have their sights set on, as long as they're in Indiana and they're playing, for the Hoosiers. So, again, we're just excited, for tomorrow to be here. It's going to be a long day for us, but, we're again, just grateful that we're here and we have this chance, this opportunity.
We were talking earlier in the season about recruiting. To get kids in this state, you just
Right.
would have to win, and that would happen. How much of a stage is this for you, being at South Bend, and then also having an opportunity to win a game? How important is that?
Well, I think anytime you can entertain young people, recruits, and talk about your program, and where you currently are, and where you're headed, and the things that you've accomplished, especially for us in the short, this is year 2 for us, my staff and I. I think it's only going to help with our recruiting, the state of Indiana. And we've worked awfully hard, since we've been here at identifying those young kids, the 18, 19, 20 class of some of the top kids in the state of Indiana. So this is only going to help with recruiting some of those kids, because this is the best time of the year, right? And those young kids are watching March Madness, they're paying attention, and so to be one of the 64 teams is really special. And there's no question that it will help us in the recruiting process.
In the back?
Hi, Terry. Steve
Hi.
Slifka from WTVG Television in Toledo. Amanda, obviously, she's had a great season this year, nearly, a dozen double-doubles. But what has impressed you the most about the way she's played this season?
And I'm glad you said that. I think she's undervalued, from a lot of the people on the outside, especially, I know Tyra was first team All Big Ten, unanimous. I think that was coaches and media, but B was left off, I think by the media in the Big Ten, which was disappointing. But the coaches I know in the Big Ten value a kid like Amanda Cahill, who just, she can do so many things, and she's kind of a throwback type of player, because she's not the most athletic. She doesn't jump the highest. She doesn't run the fastest, but she has terrific footwork. She has a terrific feel for the game. She's really a special passer, but then she has the ability to step out and knock down threes. She has the ability to play with her back to the basket. She kind of just has the whole package, but nothing that she does is going to wow you. She's just, at the end of the night, when you look at the stat sheet, she fills it up in different categories. She's a coach's kid. And so she's just she's been a terrific player to watch how she's grown, how she's developed. But like I said, I think there are people from the outside that kind of undervalue a kid like that. We don't. We know how important she is. And when she's on the floor, we're a better basketball team without question.
When you came on campus last season, obviously all eyes were on Tyra and her abilities, but did you see Amanda as someone you're kind of chomping at the bit, so to speak, to coach and work with over 4 years?
I had heard a lot of things about Amanda, Cahill, but watching her in our first workout, I kind of, again, she's not the fastest kid. She's not the most athletic. You kind of wonder how her game will translate in the Big Ten. But the more that we spent time with her in individual instruction, and then once we got to practice, her freshman year, she was by far our most consistent player that came through those doors every day, and her consistency in practice, and then what she was able to do in games. And so we this summer really evaluated some of the things that we were doing offensively and felt like we didn't put the ball in her hands enough a year ago. And so we really made an effort to do that this year. And it's paid big dividends because, like I said, especially for the teams that are playing us a lot of zone, we give her a lot of freedom because she's smart and she makes plays.
Additional questions for Coach?
With a player like Tyra, just what have you seen her change from last year to this year? How has she grown?
She's grown a lot off the floor. To begin with, she's gotten stronger. Obviously, her body's changed from a year ago when she, I think, hit campus at 115 and got into the weight room and really dedicated herself to changing her body because this is a kid that likes to attack the rim and try to get to the free throw line. And she saw the value in being able to get, play with contact or through contact. She got consistent. More consistent with her outside shot. She's shooting at a higher percentage than she did a year ago with her three-point shot. Where she's made the most strides, though, is just she's grown, into a young person that I think her priorities changed over the summer in terms of what was important to her, what she wanted out of this experience at Indiana. Both academically and athletically, and she really, I think, honed in on what was going to be really important to her, and she spent that time, intentional time, really prioritizing what's important. And I think everything in her that's in her life right now, like I said, academically and basketball-wise, because she's made that decision, has benefited her, and the work that she did in the weight room in the summer, obviously to garner first team All Big Ten, kind of was an indicator for her of just how much better she can become, and if she wants to play at the next level, what she's going to have to do in order for that to happen.
When you talk about the maturation process for young players like Tyra and Amanda, with going into this first round game, how do you kind of make sure they don't battle with nerves too much early? What are you telling them?
I think, it's, they're going to be looking at me, right? And, I think one of the things we can do as a staff is make sure that we're relaxed. And, we're prepared for this moment. We've worked extremely hard. And there have been, lots of peaks and valleys with this process, and we're still in building a culture for our program, but we've worked extremely hard, and there's something to be said when you've done your work. You show up and you're relaxed, and that's what we're going to remind our kids, that we're here because we deserve to be here, and we got to be relaxed. We got to play. It's still a game. And the more relaxed, the more we have fun, the more energy we bring, enthusiasm, we play through our mistakes, the better we're going to be. But I think a lot of that is going to come from me and how I make sure that they're prepared to go in there relaxed. And they know what they have to do. But the last thing that we're going to do is encourage them to enjoy the moment.
You look at the styles of play. Obviously, you guys like to bear down defensively, but they play a lot of defense too, and they like to run.
Sure.
You like to run. So I mean, what are keys in a game like this?
Well, we're giving up a few more points than they are. They're terrific. They're the top of the league defensive team in the SEC with I think they're only giving up 54 points or 53.8 something like that. So I think it'll be a battle of two teams defensively, and we're going to have to make sure that we really try to get out and one of the things we didn't do a good enough job of in the Big Ten tournament against Northwestern was run, and that's been one of our focuses this week, and really trying to push tempo, and not allowing ourselves to get into a half-court game where they can really get up in you and be aggressive. They're long, they're athletic, they're physical, and just depending on how the officiating crew lets us play, it could turn out to be a real physical game, and so it's going to be, I think, an interesting game with two teams that are similar in the fact that we value defense, we value rebounding, and we both want to get out and run. And so we got to make sure that and I think that we're in a little bit of a different place. I think Tyra, as she mentioned, with the time off was really good for us. We were able to kind of catch our breath and take a few days off, and physically I think we look better. I think we feel better. And so my hope tomorrow is that Tyra has a tremendous amount of energy to make sure she's pushing on every possession, because I think that's what it's going to take, some run-outs, to get some points on the board for us.
Also, I mean, you played those teams earlier in the season, West Virginia, Miami. They out-rebounded you guys, but you've out-rebounded teams now 10 out of the last 12 games. I mean, what do you think has changed in terms of you guys on the glass?
Well, that was early. We went out to that tournament, and when you look at your statistics, and there's categories where that we have to improve by the time we get to Big Ten play. You start focusing even more in practice on those areas, and I think I said this, John, you've heard me say it before, we just started spending more intentional time in practice, whether it was 3 minutes, 5 minutes, where it was just a contact box out drill against our practice guys, which really again get your kids' attention, but it also the reason behind it was they needed to understand that we are getting out rebounded, and in order for us to win some of these games, like the Rutgers game, like the Michigan State game, as you mentioned, going down the stretch, we did a great job of out rebounding our opponent. We were going to have to do that, and so that was I think as much of a mental thing for us as it was a physical thing. But it's really just getting them to understand. And doing the things in practice was going to get their attention, that they understood this must be important because we do it every day, and that's really kind of what happened to us.
Additional questions for Coach?
Awesome. Thank you.